little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, that did cost Spacestation. And we'll see how they're feeling after that. Game 2 is about to take place, and it'll be on Infernal Shrines, chosen by HeroesHearth. But I do want to go back to that point that running these same kinds of compositions, we'll see if that changes. There was some double supporting from HeroesHearth in the later games with the Brightwing, though they were sticking to the Tassadar. Ooh. It seems really cool that HeroesHearth is doing this. They came in, they decided Leoric Greymane. That didn't work out for them their first weekend. They come in, they're saying Hanzo Tassadar. Everyone's playing Hanzo Tassadar, so that kind of makes sense. But they're sticking within these things, these types of compositions that they decided to play, and that keeps something constant as they work on other elements of their gameplay. And it may net them a win here versus Spacestation.
I got a feeling Hanzo's not making it through to HeroesHearth. And if it does, I doubt it'll be with the Tassadar. So Spacestation, they're either going to have to ban out one or the other, or maybe first pick the Hanzo for themselves.
This is the first series of Spacestations this weekend, and being that Hanzo Tassadar is kind of a new addition, haven't seen yet who would play what. Jay Shritta played one Hanzo game, but they played so many different heroes last weekend. So we'll see if that is something that they are feeling like playing. If HeroesHearth will let Tassadar here. No, actually, they're not going to let through. They don't want to play it, and they also don't want to play against it. I don't blame him. Crowan made the plays.
Genji's going to be banned here. No surprise. Casanova actually did really well.
He did.
In stints, and I think it was just like team execution that they kind of struggled with towards the end. But we've seen Abathur banned a lot against HeroesHearth. If Genji gets banned here, I got a feeling Spacestation will go down the Greymane route.
Yep.
And I wonder where HeroesHearth would find a decent pairing. And if Greymane goes through, would HeroesHearth be willing to commit to an early Greymane Abathur?
They surely won't let that through. It was not only first pick between Spacestation and LFM every single game of that series. It's Casanova's most played by a landslide. And generally, you still see the bans on him on this map because of his shrine control. Yeah.
There's just no way you can let that through.
Especially with all of the combos that he still has up too. Makes me wonder if we'll see a Spacestation Tyrael at some point to follow that up.
Definitely something that Equinox likes to play, to say the least. Loves to be aggressive, and if he could have the dive buddy there, then that would work out really well. Casanova, of course, moving over from that melee back to the range, fully understands the limits of heroes like that, so we'll see if that synergy does come into play. But HeroesHearth, trying to figure it out. You know, we haven't seen a whole lot of Gul'dan on the side of Crowan and HeroesHearth.
Yeah, Arthalon played it. We saw it before. Crowan's been sticking more to the auto-attacking heroes, and Arthalon flexing over to more of the secondary support, the Tassadars, and then the mages.
Tassadar, for this battleground, this probably is his best.
But with no Hanzo. Oh! Maybe they were listening to us. Lucio ETC hasn't lost yet.
Good start. Safe start, to say the least.
And gives nothing of your plans.
It's like, boy, they just picked up two really good heroes that are basically the top of their role in most circumstances.
It either is HeroesHearth, it's their battleground choice, so there is a possibility that they're keeping something hidden, or they get these two very strong heroes in their roles and allow themselves the flexibility of responding to what Spacestation brings in the next couple of picks in draft.
The Lucio is a pretty good pairing with Gul'dan, just because the way he works, life tap to make sure he gets the mana from his health, and you have an an infinite health pool essentially with Lucio, so it would favor the pairing as well as towards the battleground.
Gosh, I love this map because I love Alexstrasza.
She's doing pretty well on it.
Ooh.
Take the Gul'dan for yourself. I want to see where Heroes Hearth's damage comes from, but more importantly, if I'm Heroes Hearth, this setup of Alex Straza Gul'dan, it is really bad against dive. It's really, really bad against flank, and Dahaka, we can get that out from McIntyre. I'd love to see a Dahaka pickup, but if I'm Space Station, I'm probably afraid of that. We actually saw Swabs in our last game kind of clincher, doing a really good job with the flanking position in a very similar style.
And maybe for that we'll see Tyrael would have Sanctification to help with that, and Horrify is going to help with that too. You didn't have Gul'dan in the last game with Alex?
I'll say this. Knowing the way Equinox plays, he's very forward.
Less with Alex and Gul'dan. That's fair. Maybe a double warrior, Tyrael and Greymane get to dive and attack someone, and maybe an Arthas or something
if they're
and try to
go
protect.
Around, an Arthas would be a very good secondary warrior to have there. I mean, they have a ton of damage in Gul'dan and Greymane.
Yeah, they're set.
Yeah, so if they just stabilize the front line, and Arthas and any other pairing up there, I think would be a really amazing setup for Space Station.
The only thing I'm wondering is if they were worried about Arthas, but they're more worried about a Zeratul. McIntyre Zeratul. What next for Heroes Hearth?
I mean, Malthael's appealing, but the other team is unlikely to pick it. The Dahaka, to me, unless you just really want to go on that Leoric route, neutralize the damage of Greymane, Gul'dan, get to that backside, and try and follow up that in another route, then I would like to see them, if they're going to go that route, then mix a Falstad in here. Give you some global control, give you a fallback hero, and then give somebody that can kind of isolate it.
I wondered why we'd see the Sonya ban from Heroes Hearth, but Tychus and D.Va. So now, we're postulating for a strong double warrior frontline for Space Station. Tychus will at least make them question that a little bit, or put them more into certain warriors. But the D.Va! I've seen a lot of bans on her.
The bans have been there, the respectfully so bans. Infernal Shrines, as we saw from Nomi at last year's mid-season brawl, it was a matter of one person steps out too far, D.Va comes in, boops you a little over, or just comes in, puts the bomb up, and then it splits the team. It has a little bit of control stealing the skeletal defenders, but it splits the team, isolates a hero, and allows you to follow that up. When you have ETC, they can slide on that hero, Lucio to boop that hero, Tychus to burst through that health pool with the minigun. There's some really good synergy here if they execute it.
Waiting for that final damage dealer for Heroes Hearth, who will help Tychus along in getting those kills. Tyrael and a Nubarak. Tyrael back for Equinox, maybe, or a Nubarak. Haven't seen Jason play either of those heroes yet.
With Tyrael and Nubarak, both of them have spell damage, or spell armor. This is pre-reworked Tyrael, who had spell armor built in. So, while a mage is less appealing, it does give you more towards the control and damage-wise. That's if Falstad, despite you potentially going into two auto-attack heroes, if somebody gets cocooned, you can gust them away. If Greymane and you get the full dive composition, you can gust them away. But you also have the potential to get Giant Killer at 13 to kind of burst through those health pools of Tyrael and a Nubarak. And you get the global control. Or you just go to a trusty old Rainer.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I think the idea was that it'd be a mage there, but it's not going to be. Junkrat is the final pick. It only took until game 2 for us to get a lot of changing up in the drafts. I'm so excited to see this.
The Junkrat pickup, we've seen Tempo Storm use this, has good shrine control. You can easily clear that, good getting the grenades out, as well as his auto attacks are all AoE damage style. So you can kind of pepper away at the front line while simultaneously getting down the skeletal defenders. So you have that, and then the concussion mine. Force one of these heroes, Tyrael or a Nubarak, to use their mobility just to get to safety as opposed to offensively.
Yeah, the Greymane Gul'dan Alex Straza is hardcore shrine control. Should Heroes Hearth get a shrine and get a Punisher though, I would be pretty scared for Space Station. You've got a Diva Bomb that you can throw along with that, with the self-destruct. You've got ETC and Lucio who can go in and bring someone back. And there's Junkrat concussion mines. Nobody showed it better than Fan. If you get jumped and you are not ready for that leap of the Punisher, you're going over the gate and you are going to go down. So it's a matter of, can Space Station maintain control of those shrines? That's what I'm looking at. Let's get into the game. Space Station currently down 1 game in this best of 5 to HeroesHearth Esports. Let's see if they bring it back.
BBJ, man with lots of hair.
That's not where I thought you were gonna go.
We had a discussion about Collusion's hair, BBJ's hair. They're both supports. They both have like killer mains.
The voice intonation that you used to start that though was like BBJ, the man, the myth, the legend, something, right? Like something hype.
We used to have
man with a lot of hair.
Well, when it was Udall and Crone, it was about a team full of hair. Now you got Crone and BBJ, and I'd say BBJ's got a pretty good head of hair.
Forget Hair Sports Esports or Hair Force Esports. Now we've got HeroesHearth, Heroes Hair. Heroes Hair, there we go.
Oh.
Hard-hitting analysis at the beginning of game 2. Same Gift of Life build for Alex Straza that we saw earlier from Gale Force Esports and Akaface. I think that's fair. There's just so much control between ETC, between Lucio, and the mines. The mines are going to throw you right off of the abundance, so it makes W build less of a possibility. Nice to see that change up.
I was wondering maybe we might see the Q build from Gul'dan. Does go Echoed Corruption, and then you realize Diva, slower movement speed than most heroes when she is in that mech form, so maybe a little bit easier. You can see Crowan throwing the grenade directly onto that healing circle from Alex Straza. Easy target.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a bullseye, and there's so much control around that you have to be able to have whenever you play with the Alex Straza. And so it's up to Tyrael and Noob to posture so that the members of Space Station can get on those points, as well as for Tomster to make sure that he is positioning it correctly. HeroesHearth pretty early attempt on this bottom camp, which Space Station has sniffed out.
Yeah, are you a little bit surprised that we're seeing the Nerubian armor from a Nubarak against mostly heavy auto attack heroes? I mean, it seems like parrying that with Alex Straza was a good pairing, and Equinox taking a bit of damage there.
Man, you saw how effective HeroesHearth are being able to zone away from the abundance, but it was a fairly aggressive positioning. What do you make of that? Do you think it's a lot more focused around the self-destruct, around the Riptire, those kinds of things, as opposed to the auto attacks, more of the mines, trying to deal with those?
I guess those are two good counter-arguments, the big blow-up potential there from both of those abilities.
But it is a bit strange not to see Regen Master. We've seen it a lot more for the Anubarak, and this is a fantastic battleground to get a Regen Master or really any of the Globe talents. That's why we're seeing Tychus go for Globes, ETC with Prog Rock.
And the rhythm, of course, one more time picked up here for Tychus, dealing with that double warrior, the meta that has survived through all of this, so definitely helping out.
Shrine activating in just 20 seconds. Space Station gets their camp just slightly ahead of HeroesHearth. They're working on getting theirs. It's gonna be slower going here. But Space Station are heading up and getting their top camp too, so Space Station definitely having a better jump on the rotations. They also have Casanova on Greymane, who's a very good merking hero, and that gives them slight power play as they set up for the Shrine.
It's up to McIntyre to try and make the play to get value out of the bomb. Of course, we will see the Dragon form at some point, but Ishbu sneaking through on the backside, trying to separate his team. McIntyre looking for an opportunity, not having it, but Casanova ate a lot of damage, forced to kind of hit the soft reset by tapping there, and we see a lead here on the Shrine for HeroesHearth. Yeah,
that was insanely good zoning from Ishbu, keeping Tomster all the way back. Has not chosen to use that Dragon Queen yet. At this point, I'm wondering if they're going to. It's 29 of the Skeletal Defenders. Finally, Space Station starts to go in. The Dragon Queen, it goes out. It got the self-destruct from McIntyre, though, to knocked away with the wing buffet, but it still does give the Skeletal Defenders enough that Heroes Hearth are just about there, 38 to the just 12 of Space Station. Corruption.
BBJ, the corruption onto BBJ. The heals are not enough. It looks like they're going to get one kill and a mech. McIntyre.
Oh,
got him.
Eldrin even over the wall just to make sure. Over the gate. Now the Punisher's jumping in. Punisher snagged by Heroes Hearth, but at the cost of 2 of their teammates. Bed of Barbs really coming in handy to make sure that Lucio couldn't escape normally.
Get that slowdown. Now they're just going to lose 1 tower. Get the jump over. More than adequate defense here. The rest of Heroes Hearth went ahead and split down towards the top and bottom respectively to try and continue to soak us. Giving up those kills actually does give Space Station a little lead despite that Punisher.
And you saw the power struggle between the Dragon Queen and Self-Destruct. That's going to be a constant around these shrines. But being in the Dragon Queen and being able to wing buffet the Self-Destruct away so that Space Station could still stay on the point and try to contest. And because they were so far behind, then just move forward and get the kills in lieu of actually getting the Punisher. I think that's why we saw Tomster be so patient in the first place with the Dragon Queen. He didn't end up using it once the team went in and the Self-Destruct came after that, but he knew that Heroes Hearth was getting to the point where Space Station knew they just needed to get in there for the fight.
Junkrat's under assault top. I don't think he makes it out of there alive. Either way, we got a 4-man push here on the bottom in response, recognizing that as long as he keeps those 2 members there, they do find themselves some experience via the wall here in the middle. They'll have to send somebody to the top to make sure not to miss out on too much experience, as the race for 10 is definitely here before the next shrine.
Yeah, the race is on, and Space Station are in the lead to that level 10. Heroes Hearth rotated down to the mid, trying to take out towers, just opening up these forts for wherever future Punisher pushes happen.
Yeah, so here's the spot where Junkrat was there. Shrite is actually going to get caught out. He's got a bit of heal. He's got that tap at level 4 by instantly killing a minion.
And Dream Life just turned around, waited for the team, tanked it, said, fine, if you eventually get me, I'll at least taken you down enough, and maybe my team will get here in time to save me, and they did.
I think the thing right there with Space Station is that they sent Greymane off to get the camp, and now because they were forced so far out, I think it would have been an opportunity for them to push in. Junkrat was just now spawning. D.Va was on the top. They could have maybe gotten a little bit of structure damage here on the middle, got themselves 10 ahead of time, maybe forced an advantage, maybe invaded that top left camp. Instead, by getting caught out there, forced a Nubrak to go ahead and back. Gul'dan kind of had to have a soft reset. I think it really hurt a lot of their rotations and their potential value out of getting that kill or getting that defense and then getting the kill up at the top.
Heroic abilities are out, and as you would expect, we're looking at a mosh pit ETC. As far as interrupts go, they're fairly on the light side. So Nubarak, Gul'dan doesn't want to use Horrify, but if he absolutely has to, that's another possibility. It seems a pretty good choice to go into mosh pit here for Heroes Hearth. Shrine activating in the top.
Yeah, not too bad of a choice there.
Yeah.
Both teams prioritizing their shaman camps. It's going to be all for naught. That doesn't really do much. At best, it gives you a little bit of vision in that lane by pushing forward, forcing the other team to respond. But the real action will be around that team fight. Level 10, D.Va with her mech explosion. Will the Dragon Queen just kind of hold on to that one more time? Or will McIntyre use it early and force that out early?
McIntyre's done a great job of ensuring that he always has self-destruct for these crucial moments of the shrines. That is his job here. Close game between Space Station and Heroes Hearth. Game 2 after Heroes Hearth winning game 1 on Tomb. Now with Junkrat coming up, Heroes Hearth gets aggressive. The Odin being brought down, called down by Crowan. No usage of the self-destruct yet. Trying to wait it out. Tomster goes into Dragon Queen.
Ishbu on the backside. He's looking for a flank, unable to find it. There's the mech explosion. There's the power slide onto it. Sanctification is going to nullify all of that damage and completely restart this fight. And here comes the Cleansing Flame.
Yeah, Riptire too, as Equinox Burrow charges away from that Cleansing Flame, keeping them healthy. Ishbu really looking to see if he can get the mosh pit that wins them the team fight. A lot else has been used for Heroes Hearth, but they are still ahead in the Skeletal Defenders again, taking the time to bring out the Dragon Queen. McIntyre boosting away a lot of the team. Horrify comes out, Junkrat in a dangerous position. He falls just as the Punisher achieved for HeroesHearth.
They got it, but again, they're not going to be able to do much with it. Odin is down. McIntyre at least trying to separate somebody. It forces them to jump out.
Oh, that was really cool to force that leap out. This does give them a little bit more because the leap's not behind the wall.
Be able to take the wall down. I'd love to see them send one person down. Right now, it feels like HeroesHearth is missing out on maximizing that value. You're being forced to potentially take a 4v5 with a Punisher. Once it's jumped once, there's a big timer before that goes. They could have easily rotated out of that early, Gilly. There was a massive wave that was pushed towards the middle lane. You take middle lane structure, they would have had that entire thing, got onto the fort, rotated towards the bottom, potentially got a fort out of one of those lanes. Instead, they sat there, softly looked for an engage, but a 4v5 engage, even with the Punisher, feels a bit ambitious. And I think that was a missed opportunity for HeroesHearth to try and, despite losing one person, get the advantage out of the Punisher. Instead, it's pretty even.
Yeah, power side hits Equinox in a lot of danger as he burrow charges away. This invade still working out. Self-destruct even used just to ensure that they get what they came for. HeroesHearth walk away with the camp, but do burn self-destruct for that, so McIntyre want to make sure that he gets that back for the next shrine. Maybe if they had not lost Junkrat, if Junkrat had still been there, even if it was a 4v5, and they could have had the possibility of getting a flip over the wall along with the Punisher, then maybe it would have worked out better for HeroesHearth. But yeah, fortunately not doing too much, although the McIntyre bait on the early leap was cute.
Jason trying to make plays happen. The rest of the team just not there. Good impale to stop McIntyre from getting the knockback there. But you know, they got a little bit of fort damage, Gilly. They got a fort wall with that Punisher. They're trying to find other ways, but they're basically playing an even game at this point. When you don't get the advantages in your macro play off of objectives, you basically say, all right, we're down for the best man wins in a team fight. And that's kind of where it feels HeroesHearth has struggled a little bit in their first few series. They haven't quite been able to get that advantage and to just keep the pressure on people.
And as a counterpoint, Spacestation has ensured every single time that HeroesHearth gets nothing from their Punishers. They have done a great job of just getting that one kill somewhere. It feels like they're waiting for a really long time to use Dragon Queen, maybe feeling like the mosh is enough of an issue, those choke points are enough of a concern, that they really want to approach this cautiously. But the way they're playing, that they've been able to get kills, nullify every single Punisher for HeroesHearth. If they continue to get those kills, respawn timers are going to get longer, and eventually they're going to get to a place where they're going to get some Punishers and start getting something done on their own.
Boombox put down for a little bit of vision. The invade there. We do see D.Va playing the anchor, the beacon for Junkrat to make sure that he can get out of there if things get a little bit hairy. This bomb's for you. Does he say this bomb or this one?
I did not, I'm not sure now that you say something. Thought it was this one.
This one, maybe I need to play more Junkrat.
We all need to play a little more Junkrat.
I play heroes with 2 legs.
Another shrine. Self-destruct for McIntyre to start this off. That's one difference. Mine placed down. He's working on it. Jason being very aggressive, forcing back Rowan. The Odin comes out. Spacestation are keeping up this time with HeroesHearth. They're going to have to go back for a little bit because of the Odin. Here comes the Dragon Queen. They're getting back in the fight, J-How.
They're getting back in the fight. The Cocoon has been used onto Lucio, but the Mosh Pit in return. The Horrify has gotten him out of that. But the Cocoon there effectively has not done much. There's the explosion, sound barrier in place, and the Sanctification lasts just long enough.
Yeah, it's just perfect. McIntyre back in the mecha now. Casanova in trouble, but the Cleansing Flame doing all that Tomster can to keep him alive. Tyrael is the first one to go down in this fight. Still has the Archangel's Wrath and chases back a lot of HeroesHearth. Crowan 2, 24-21. This is really close, but without Tyrael now, Spacestation are fighting a man down.
Oh, he's trying to go in. Casanova unable to get the kill, and the Concussion Mine saves Arthalon there as he jumps over the wall, as Casanova was so close to getting that kill.
They're going to go back in again. The Corruption just doing numbers to HeroesHearth health bars. Finally, Spacestation gets that kill to even it out. 9 seconds until Tyrael will be back in the fight, or back in the game. A little bit longer until back in the fight. Once again, HeroesHearth lose someone, but get the Punisher. That was
They've got to get at least this mid fort and the bottom fort out of this to make it worth it. They'll have ETC to potentially go back. They have a camp pushing against them. I mean, maybe get the keep wall here, but I feel like getting the mid fort and going top at this point might be more advantageous. The bottom fort seems like it would fall naturally if you just send D.Va down there and a 4-man complement to the top lane. But at least they're not just standing around a gate this time around with the Punisher, seeing if they can take a 4v5.
They sent ETC back. I was wondering if Arthlon would just run up there. He has Bonzer or Ripper Air, so that he can go a lot faster now at 13. McIntyre has been caught corruption down. He drops the self-destruct. McIntyre using the torpedo dash he got at 16 to get back to safety. He's very happy they had that 16 so he could get away from all that.
Gul'dan went the extra damage on his corruption, the Ruinous Affliction. And that was some sick damage there. McIntyre zoning out for the moment, but that poison damage is keeping everybody locked in. The Holy Ground is locked in McIntyre. Not enough.
Man, it's a whole different ball game with Ruinous Affliction and all that damage now. Ishbu is going to go into the power slide, immediately a horrified back into all of Space Station, trying to run back to safety. Those Holy Grounds have just been so freaking good from Jason. Ishbu, where's he going to go?
He's going to go to the
base.
graveyard there as the Riptire. Jason just barely lives.
Oh, these cocktails, the corruptions. Man, McIntyre, I'm really scared, is not going to be able to choose his self-destruct at the same level he was in the other games, or the other shrines.
Again, it really comes down to the fact that the base movement speed is pretty slow, and generally going Ruinous Affliction at 16, it's hard to get that, but so far against D.Va, he is just destroying that health bar.
Yeah, you watch for boosters to be done, corruption drops down, you have Ruinous Affliction. You can't choose. McIntyre had to drop that self-destruct, and if the rest of the team is in position and he doesn't get that torpedo dash on, he is going to go straight back to base. And that's a problem because that's what HeroesHearth has been relying on for the control of these shrines.
Equinox and team still being aggressive. The boombox excellently placed there to at least keep vision, know that the team is coming in. And I don't think HeroesHearth is willing to contest this. This is twice now that they've had to concede this just because the aggression of Space Station has worked out so well.
Endless nades. Saw that talent earlier for Junkrat in Europe.
I mean, if you can land them, go for it. D.Va's a prime target.
Space Station hoping to siege down this fort. The next shrine is going to be down in the bottom, but every little bit of experience helps, and every little bit of opening up to the core helps as well. This has been a very close game, and so far, it's been because HeroesHearth gets the shrine, Space Station gets a kill. The last one, HeroesHearth got a couple of kills, or a kill, and then got the shrine, and then Space Station got a kill.
The problem for me has just been the lack of capitalization off of your opponent's mistakes. And unfortunately for Space Station, it's been neutralized by the Punisher. You have to respond to it. But the fact that HeroesHearth didn't find those moments to open up this game has kept it even. And so Space Station, the longer this game goes on and the longer this is the scenario, it's just the win condition is literally a team fight at this point. Neither team has done anything out of the ordinary to force a rotation. Another team goes and takes a fort, takes a lane.
Yeah, scoot on out of there. Holy Ground is a problem. Holy Ground and the damage on McIntyre. Emergency shielding has just not been enough. There it is again, half the health bar. That's going to change how this shrine goes down.
That's pretty even so far. Equinox goes in. McIntyre has used the explosion, but the Dragon is out. The Riptire trying to flank around the backside, but they get the kill onto a Nubaret.
Yeah, Equinox is already down, but a lot more is still available to Space Station. They have Sanctification as the Dragon goes down, but they're going to back off with that long being... did you see what happened with Sanctification?
I did not. Right now, I'd love to see HeroesHearth go down, get the camp, and push with this. They have to send Junkrats. This is really good a stall tactic. They're guaranteed the shrine at this point. They get the camp here. They need to stall on capturing this. What they're doing is they're allowing Junkrat to clear this out. If they don't clear this, they lose their keep. So what they could potentially do is by clearing this, you take care of this, you save your keep. Surprised I think they ended up having to cap that because of the invade from Space Station. The grenade's missing just a little bit there. Now they can capture this, push, and get a keep of themselves. Anything less than a keep at 18, 19 minutes in, Gilly, I think is going to be a little bit of a loss.
Junkrat not joining back up with the team yet, but if he joins up before that leap, watch for him to see if he can get a start for a pick. The team not being overly aggressive in front of this to try to take down a small wall. With Holy Ground, with the Gul'dan damage, Horrify will be back up in a few seconds. Might be just too scary for HeroesHearth. They're going to play it safe. Focus on the small wall now.
I mean, Junkrat stayed mid to try and get 20, and then he took a very safe route to get to the bottom lane.
It's a lot of damage done to the Punisher already.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get a keep wall. McIntyre shredded.
All right, here comes the Odin. And there goes the self-destruct. Self-destruct for the zoning as the Punisher walks all the way right back through that, and that gives some time. This keep is falling rapidly. HeroesHearth do get the keep, and they have 20.
They can capitalize on one more jump. This is the opportunity.
That's
there it goes. There's the power slide.
Casanova.
He gets the knockback. Jason's in trouble. That's 2 members down, or excuse me, 1 down. Tyrael did fall, and that was perfectly executed by HeroesHearth.
Sound barrier. There goes the Riptire 2 for more of the zoning. Tomster's back out of the cleansing flame now, so that's a lot of the heals down from that as McIntyre fully forward. And Ishbu catches Gul'dan inside of the mosh pit. But the core is falling so rapidly, and there's only one Alex Straza left to defend it. HeroesHearth Esports will go up 2 games against Space Station in this series.
Space Station having 2 people jump on it. Ishbu came into position, recognized they had 1 opportunity. There is literally 1 way you lose that game. That is the Punisher jumping and ETC sliding on you. There is almost no other way other than brute force to lose that game. 1 hero you might be able to survive on, but they had 2 people in that jump, and that's something Space Station has to be a little bit more cognizant of. If that doesn't happen, you lose a keep and you're still in the game, you get 20, and we've already seen how this goes. Ishbu, though, found the moment, took advantage.
Yeah, and Casanova being the one to go down right at the start of that too. He has a lot of the damage to try to deal with what's coming in from HeroesHearth. Was great to see HeroesHearth take advantage of that, have the self-destruct too, be able to use that on their terms, even though McIntyre started that out with fairly low health, thanks to the corruption build. And that puts HeroesHearth away from just 1 more win to close out the series. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll see if HeroesHearth gets that win or if Space Station brings it back.